Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Experience Beyond podcast series. In this podcast series, we collaborate with CX experts across the globe to discuss CX and share their insights and experiences. I'm Ananigam, your host. I'm co-founder of XEBO.ai, a digital platform managing CX, EX, and MR. I'm also co-founder of Foresight CX and Foresight Research and Analytics, which are customer experience and insights consultancy. In today's podcast, I bring to you an interesting topic on how essential it is for business to anticipate customer needs and deliver exceptional experiences. That is, moving from reactive to proactive experience. To discuss this topic, I'm joined by a true champion in the field, Nate Brown.
Hello.
Nate, a quick introduction to Nate. Nate is a CX champion and a lifelong learner with over 15 years of experience driving exceptional customer experiences. Beyond his corporate role, he also co-founded CX Accelerator, a thriving virtual community dedicated to empowering CX professionals, which I'm also a part now. His enthusiasm for learning and sharing knowledge shines through his speaking engagements and writing. Welcome, Nate. We are thrilled to have you for the show today.
Well, thank you, Anand, and thank you, everybody. Thrilled to be here. Excited to talk about some great customer experiences.
Thank you, Nate. Given that your experience is in high volume remote customer service model, where you are the forefront of managing a substantial customer base multiple times in your career, how did you successfully transition the organization from a reactive problem solving approach to a proactive customer centric strategy?
Yeah. So I had a great opportunity to do that within a safety science company a few years ago, and it's easy to get addicted to the volume of calls. You know, we have all these tickets. We gotta manage tickets, and at some point it's like, wow, we can really get caught up in the rut of just managing tickets instead of thinking about what's really going on here. Where are these tickets coming from? How could we adopt more of a larger customer experience mindset to think about where is friction happening stream in the customer journey? And really got to do that inside of that safety science company. So brought in a CX change coalition, just bringing in different leaders that represented that larger customer journey and just thinking through how can we make it easy for them to accomplish whatever objective they have. And it required us to learn more about what their real objective was, which is transcending that ticket mentality. It's not just about resolving a ticket. It's like, okay, this person was trying to achieve a thing, they got stuck. So the more that you can think in terms of, I love using that guide metaphor, that building a story brand, the idea that the customer is the hero of the story, and what are we? We're an effective guide, and we guide the customer to their definition of success. We have to know what that definition looks like, and we've got to become, as an organization, an effective guide through that journey. So as you do that, it will really help you to transcend, that high volume call center type of mentality. And you get to become somebody who's, still a high volume, but we're a high volume guide. And we're thinking about how we can ultimately reduce calls, one, but really at the end of the day, make the journey smoother for more people.
And just a very interesting topic you touched, the ticket generation. Now, typically, how would these tickets get generated, or what is a ticket?
Yeah, a ticket is a customer interaction, right? I mean, you've got all these channels that we love to create as customer service leaders. It could be over social media. You've got some kind of web form. You've got email. You've got phone. All these different channels that are ultimately creating tickets.
Right.
And I do love thinking about the effortless experience. Classic wisdom there. How can we guide customers to the best resolution paths? So it's not about having more tickets from more places. It's about interacting more intelligently, because we put ourselves in their shoes and we think about, wow, if we're going to experience an issue like this, what is the best way that we should have them approach us for a solution? Or, as you said, Anand, be proactive in that. Wow, they got stuck here. We saw it. We saw it. We're already on it.
Great. And did you have any SLAs against these tickets? Like, do you need to close all the tickets 100% required, or any other SLA like the tickets need to be closed within a certain period of time?
Oh, I've worked under different SLAs of all types throughout my career, and yeah, that's certainly a part of it. And I think really, as you think about SLAs, are for those who may not know out there, service level agreements, which
Right,
is a really important thing, right? I mean, it's thinking about how can we make sure that we follow through on a resolution for the customer in an appropriate time frame. But the idea of an appropriate time frame is different for different types of organizations who have different relationships with their customers, different levels of complexity with what those tickets look like. So you really
right,
got to think through, at what point does it enter into a realm where we've broken a customer expectation? It's become inappropriate in terms of how long as a business it's taking us to move them down their path. At that point, we've broken our promise to be an effective guide. So thinking through intelligent SLAs for you is a great exercise rather than Googling world-class call standard, SLAs. What does that look like? It's more about you and your
absolutely.
unique relationship with your customers.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And Nate, you have been working with, several CX companies, and you have seen CX in action across various sectors. Now, what are the common challenges and opportunities in scaling CX initiative across different industries? How can organizations effectively adopt their strategies across different sectors or industries?
Yeah, what a great question. Thank you for that. I mean, there are a lot of common threads, right? I mean, I've been really in that B2B realm of occupational health nurses and doctors using heavy software to manage their clinics. In the last few years, I've been in a very different realm in the video gaming space. It's like, how can we make these players stick in the game and come back and have lasting value in the game? And I mean, there's so many things that are very common in terms of the mindset of the organization. And I think one of the mistakes that we tend to make, Anad, as we have this customer experience mantle that comes upon us, we start trying to get the organization addicted to the idea of customer experience. It's like, oh, we got to start speaking this language of customer experience. We got to get people involved in this voice of customer process, and we need to start thinking about NPS scores and customer friction and all this. And yes, but there's a Trojan horse here where no, what you get people addicted to is your own brand promise. Like the reason that
Right.
you got started in the first place as an organization and your unique capability to serve customers, a specific group of customers, very specific way. And as a CX leader, you're just knocking out barriers out of the way to that. You're helping people understand the impact that they're making on that specific group of customers. You're awakening that intrinsic motivation for them to be able to do their jobs even more effectively, even better, connect them closer to the customer, connect them closer to what's really going on in the business so that you can connect these dots more effectively and be a better guide for the customer throughout their journey. So
Right.
the work of the CX leader is not to evangelize CX. It's really to make people fall in love again with your own brand promise.
Got it. So very interesting, which means irrespective of which industry, whether it's healthcare, whether it's a gaming industry, it doesn't matter if your focus is on the customer and if your focus is on the customer needs and meeting his requirements, that's what matters in delivering great customer experience.
Yeah, that's a good summary of that. And the more you get specific about, because I mean that's a nice thing to say. It's easy to say we got to focus on the customer, but immediately that should mean something very unique and specific to you. You've got a unique group
Correct.
of customers that belong to you, and there's unique attributes of what your customer experience looks like. Stop trying to copycat Apple and Southwest Airlines and Chewy dog foods. No, like your customer experience should be yours, and it should belong to your customers.
So it's your customer what matters. Great, great example. Thank you for sharing that. Now, as a co-founder of CX Accelerator, you have helped numerous organizations build strong CX cultures. What, in your opinion, are key elements of a successful CX culture, and how can leaders effectively communicate the importance of CX to employees at all levels within the organization? Because in the essence of CX culture at the end of the day is the employees and how they behave.
100%. Yeah, I mean, my favorite definition of culture is just simply how we do things. It's just
Right,
how we do things.
right,
So so if everybody does things differently, you don't have much of a semblance of culture. The more that you have the establishment of what Denise Leon calls subcultures and mini camp cultures for each team, for each leader who's looking to establish their legacy and make their team, bulletproof, then the more that the organization at large suffers because you're not aligned, you're not doing things the same way, and you're not doing things for a greater purpose. I think at the end of the day, that's what really defines a great culture. People are alive, they're on fire, and they're excited because you are doing something special for the people that you serve. And if that fire's not there, then all you're doing is working. You're just going through the day. And you're going to end up doing the bare minimum. You're not going to go above and beyond. You're not going to be innovating and stretching into a new realm of how you can be a more effective guide and challenging those around you to be the same so that you can together do things the same and do them with excellence, which ultimately
right.
creates this great culture that people can have great sense of pride about because you're a unique group of people together doing something unique.
Nice. So I really like that having a fire is a key ingredient of having a great culture. How about to ignite this fire? How
Mm.
critical is the vision, mission, or the leadership role in developing that kind of culture?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, I love thinking about John Coder, his model of leading change. And the very first one on his brilliant model, his steps, his 8 steps on how to make change stick, it's light the fire. It's earn the right to ignite change in the organization. So what you got to do is you got to have the conversation of we can't keep living this way. We can't keep doing it this way. And there's a couple levers that you get to pull in that conversation. One is we can and we should be better. Like we there's this promise that we care about. We have this opportunity to serve our customers better. This is the impact that we could make if we together do this. But then you've got the kind of a little bit of a fear lever here, and that's the fact of our competitors are getting this. And if there's one thing I do know, Anad, is that if you look at like the customer simplicity index, and if you look at the CX indexes that are out there, those who are excelling in this area of customer experience, they are gobbling up market share. They
Right.
they become industry leaders. So if you're not embracing customer experience and starting to crack the code on this, and your competitors are, you're short for this world. So you get to pull that lever too.
Oh, very interesting. And many organizations, they need to actually invest in developing a CX within the organization or CX culture within the organization, which requires these investment commitment from the leadership team. Another element which I have seen very recently is all the technological advancements which are happening across organizations and a way of life and way of things, doing things. Now, given that the pace at which all these technologies are changing, which is changing customer expectations,
Yeah.
what do you envision as the future of customer experience? How can organizations be proactive in these changes, stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, it's tough, and I'm a little behind on this subject, but I do have some thoughts, and I'll share them regardless. And I still do. I know I've mentioned this on a couple other resources, but a couple of years ago, Jonathan Schroer introduced me to the concept of Jarvis in Iron Man, and in context of customer service, and
Yeah.
talking about how Iron Man was just there, just in the HUD of the customer, and experience through their eyes the different barriers that they have to what they're trying to achieve and just taking care of it proactively. It's just a guide who's there with you, just incredibly adept at anticipating friction and proactively resolving it. So I mean that's how brands should be thinking, right? Is that jar capability. Oh, you're going up into the atmosphere? Let me give you some oxygen. Oh, you just had a missile fired at you. Let me take care of that. You don't even need to worry about it. I've got that under control. But then I also like thinking about the Pepper Potts piece because that's just friction reduction. That's just taking care of the transactional. That's knocking out the stuff that needs to be taken care of. But why? What's the heart level of all this? And we had that Gartner statistic recently that 70% of people that are going to be calling a contact center by 2026 are doing it because they're lonely. So it's like people are looking for a sense of identity, and they're looking for that in the brands that they love, the brands that they've chosen to do business with. Like that's one place where you're getting that sense of identity, and it's a critical one. So brands that foster community, and so that's where I add the Pepper Potts layer. It's like, okay, so you got Jarvis that's taking care of business, but Pepper Potts is taking care of the heart. It's like, hey, here's why we're doing this. Here's why this is so important. And ultimately, it was Pepper that became Iron Man's conscience at the end that allowed him to basically sacrifice himself for the multiverse, right? It was the combination of Jarvis and Pepper that was so effective. So that's what we need to embrace as great customer service, customer experience brand. Take care of business, Jarvis style. Be proactive. Be there with your customer, anticipating variables and not out proactively. Incredible self-service capabilities, as an example. Unbelievable modern voice of customer, where we're not having to fill out surveys to tell the brand how we feel because they know, because we were there as part of that experience that they had. And modern voice of customer technology has the ability know customer sentiment unbelievably well just because of their presence inside of that experience. But then also develop community, develop identity, develop connection. The combination of that to me is really the future of customer experience.
Oh, very interesting. And I like the analogy that you have used of Iron Man and Jarvis and, connecting it to the need for even human intelligence coming in. So what you are saying is that technology is important. It's helping to proactively predict customer behaviors. But along with technology, you need people to actually manage the technology and deliver those experiences.
Yep, that is all true.
Great, great. No, thank you. Thank you for sharing those insights. I've got a very special round for you now, Nate.
Oh,
Are you ready?
okay.
So,
Ready.
finally, to conclude our session today, I've got a very chilly rapid fire questions for you, Nate. Should
Okay.
I
I didn't
start?
look at them in advance. Yeah, this is going to be fresh off the top. So let's go. I'm ready.
Absolutely. Here you go. Go to coffee order.
Oh, coffee order. Oh, well, if I'm in the north, then I'm going to Caribou Coffee. They have something called the Mint Condition, which is the most glorious coffee ever. And if I'm down here in the south at home, I'm actually making my own coffee with raw milk. Amazing.
And which was the last book you read?
Oh well, it'd be it'd be peace talks in the Dresden files. But last night, to have a more professional example, I was once again rereading Fusion by Denise Leon, which is this unbelievable work talking about how to develop a customer-centric culture inside of an organization. One of my absolute favorite customer experience books of all time.
Fusion.
Fusion.
Oh, nice. Which is your dream travel destination?
Travel destination. Okay. I saw a meme or a little internet thing of somebody has a private island out in the Caribbean with a really nice pickleball court on it. So that would definitely qualify. I would love to go to Tahiti and or New Zealand to see Hobbiton and all of that. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings guy. There's many destinations on my list, but those would be three that top it.
Yeah, New Zealand is in my bucket list as well.
Mm.
Favorite way to spend a Sunday afternoon?
Oh yeah, it's hanging out with my daughters. We've been doing read alouds, in some amazing works of literature, and just hanging out and resting and refreshing. I've got a little disc golf course that I built on our property out here, so I go and play that and take care of our chickens. That's a nice Sunday right there.
Family time.
Indeed.
Best advice you have ever received?
Oh, dink with your butt, which would be pickleball advice. People love to stand up way too tall when they're dinking and they're using their arm too much. If you get your lower body activated and you're really using your big muscles and your glutes to hit those dink shots, you're going to control them a lot better. That's a little advice for those pickleballers out there.
Okay. And favorite hobby outside of work?
Oh, well, I kind of just blew that, didn't I? Pickleball would definitely be one, but also disc golf. I absolutely love disc golf. I love fishing out of my kayak with my dad. We've been doing that some lately, and gonna add a little more as the fall comes into Nashville. So yeah, so many fun things to do around here in Middle Tennessee.
And if you had a dinner date with a CX figure, who would it be?
Oh, I've had incredible luck in this area. I've recently had Dan Gates in town. I had April
Uh-huh.
Wong. I had Jeff Toyster in town. They're coming here to me, so this dream is coming true. Boy, if I could pick one person right now that I could sit down and have dinner with in a great CX conversation, it would be Denise Yon. I would love Denise, if you're out there, come on to Nashville or I'll come your way. Would love to do dinner with you and talk about the incredible things that you're doing. Thank you for all your mentorship and just all the ways that you're inspiring CX professionals around the world. You're awesome.
Dennis, you got your dinner deal. What could be the best CX advice for the audience?
Oh, best CX advice. Get excited about it. I mean, energy is the most translatable force in the world. You're not going to knock somebody over and get them wanting to change their mentality or their behaviors because you showed them some report. That's important. We know we got to earn the right with executives, and there's compounding things. There's different levers that we're pulling once again, and some of those are analytical in nature. But if you want to get your CX initiative going, if you want to change the trajectory of your organization, foster curiosity, get people excited about your brand promise again. I mean, this business started for a really good reason, and there's a group of customers out there that belong to you. You can serve them in a way that only you can. And if you get people fired up about that and have pride around that, you're going to do remarkable things. The stuff lines up. Without that, you're just doing work.
Wow, very valuable inputs, Nate. A big thank you to you for sharing these valuable insights. And to my viewers, audience, we hope this conversation with Nate has sparked new ideas and perspectives on customer experience. Until next time, keep exploring the world of customer experience.
Thanks,
Cheers.
everybody.